My name is Miguel Valdez. One of the historical events I experienced was the LA riots of 1992. Well, it was really a dark, or I guess a black guy in the history of LA, in a really a sad situation we all had to live through. You know, I think to this day most of the area in South Central, back then it was known as South Central, now it's known as South LA, hasn't had to many extents hasn't recovered. The economic, in terms of economics, they haven't recovered. There's still a lot of issues dealing with businesses that moved out and have never returned to the area, and that still to this day has affected the area gravely. Well, I don't know if you can justify a good reason. There's never a good reason to riot, but sometimes you understand why it happens. Uh, the LA riots happened because of the beating of Rodney King and the trials held afterwards that the LAPD, their officers had to go through, and I remember, I believe most of them were acquitted of any wrongdoing. So, and then that's what led to the civil unrest in South Central. So, was it a good reason that they happened? No, I don't want to say it was a good reason. It was an unfortunate reason, but you could understand why the buildup over many decades, perhaps, of police brutality and misconduct. Uh, uh, Reported or unreported, people would say, and then finally they see a video of a black man being beaten by several LAPD officers, captured by a video camera, and then they're acquitted of most of any wrongdoing, and the black community explodes in civil unrest. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't see them. I don't know a good reason, no, but an unfortunate reason, yes. Well, I used to service that area as a UPS driver, so I saw the changes in neighborhood and demographics too. When I first started, it was predominantly black, perhaps 80% black, maybe 15% Latino, and the other 4% other. And as time changes, it became less and less uh, African American, more Latino. But how did it affect my life? Well, I used to service that area. I didn't live in the area, but I used to service. So I saw many businesses burn down to the ground. Where many businesses were perhaps thriving and they were part of the community. That common fiber that blends the community and businesses, right? So the aftermath of the civil unrest, you return to the area to deliver to customers. They're no longer there. They're gone. Their businesses are destroyed, burned to the ground. It's almost like a shock when you return, and it looks like they were the result of a bombing, or like something you see in war movies and stuff. So a lot of businesses moved out of the area, and to this day, I don't think the area has recovered. And if they have, it's very slow. It's almost more than 2 decades that it has that occurred, and there used to be stores, chain franchises like Radio Shack. Well, Radio Shack is out of business, but other department stores that moved out and never returned. So the 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 community in South Central lost many businesses and tax revenue from the businesses. And the city needs taxes to invest back in the community, such as schools and community parks and provide programs. And when those businesses left and did not return, it was a big setback for the community. I had a supervisor right with me like for a day or two, and that was about it. And after that, we just went back to normal. So, and it was kind of relief to try to get back in the routine, you know, as far as us workers and also the residents of the community. So, trying to establish some kind of normalcy. Yeah, you could feel the tension, you know. You know, the LA rise wasn't just I don't think an African American civil unrest, you know, from what I remember, a lot of also Hispanics or Latinos were also involved. It could have been 50-50, you know, when it came to the looting of stores and the burning of stores. But you could feel the tension, you know. Now there was the divide I mentioned earlier. Now you can see that the community was on one side and then the police was on the other side, and it's kind of sad in a sense that you have a police that's supposed to be, I guess, embedded in the community and be part of the goodwill of the community. It seemed like they were at opposites, right? The police were also bad guys, you know, because you know of what happened with the Ronnie King and the history of police brutality and misconduct in the past. So, yeah, and to this day, I think you still feel it, you know, in areas like South Central where, unfortunately, police are not viewed as friendly but as antagonists, and like other parts of the country, like what happened in Ferguson, Missouri, I believe, and other situations where also racial issues are always lurking, you know, and it could be triggered. Something could just trigger instantly, and boom, explodes. The city explodes in civil unrest, and that's kind of unfortunate, and really a reality check for our country. You know, same thing we're doing right now through the political presidential primaries, where you know I think Donald Trump is raising some racial issues and getting some responses. So yeah, the tension between police and community, it's you could feel it. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's happening. You know, I mentioned Ferguson, Missouri, the Eric Garney issue. You know, and there's been a several other incidents where minorities, in this case African American, have been, I guess, victimized by law enforcement or other kinds of crime, and they feel they're not getting the justice. So, yes, 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 you know, and it happens in pockets. L.A., Ferguson, Missouri, the Watts riots of the 1960s, Detroit, Chicago, but you know, who's to say it can't happen nationally?